During Fox's pregame show yesterday, Jay Glazer said he believed Drew Brees would be hanging it up after this season. And after the tough loss, Brees told reporters he would take time to think about things before making any final decisions. So, Shannon, if this was, in fact, his last game, how will you remember his really special career?
How he turned it around. Skip, I was in Denver. My last 2 years in Denver, my last year in Denver, he was there, and he was bad.
At San Diego.
At San Diego, Skip. He ended up getting benched for 41-year-old Doug Flutie. I never, ever imagined he would turn out to be this.
I didn't either.
But one fateful injury, he goes to New Orleans, get with Sean Payton, right place, right time, and he has a Hall of Fame career, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And what he meant for the community to help rebuild New Orleans after Katrina, he's been great. But I didn't see this in the beginning, Skip. No one saw this.
I did not either. I went to a couple games he played when I was in Chicago at the Tribune, when he played at Purdue. I couldn't see this. Not a big arm.
Nope.
Undersized. He's a little bit over 6 feet tall. He's a good athlete, but obviously not a great athlete. Overachiever.
Yes.
And he overachieved all the way to currently holding the record for most passing yards ever. Well, how impossible is that?
Right, and it's just a testament to his hard work and his determination.
Yep.
That what he overcame after that shoulder, because they only gave him a 10%, 20% chance of playing again after that shoulder injury, and he came, like you said, at one point he had the most touchdown passes, he has the most passing yards.
And Brady, you go back and forth.
Most, 300-yard passing games? He's phenomenal.
I always saw him as a great competitor and off the field, a good man.
Yep.
I know he had a slip of the tongue when he talked about the race issue, but still, in the end, I think he did it with class all the way through.
And he got that Super Bowl. He got Super Bowl MVP, and what he meant for the city of New Orleans and what he meant for that state. He's been unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I believe it is his last game, but he has nothing to hold his head down.
If it is, congratulations on a great 20 years.
So well said. Seeing Tom and Drew after the game, it was emotional. Good stuff, guys. Great show today. The Herd is on right now. We're back same time tomorrow. And
against his greatest challenge yesterday. That's his nemesis. That's his worst nightmare. That's his matchup nightmare, because those guys can get after him and after all of his receivers. And I thought the Saints defense played extremely well yesterday.
They didn't pressure him like they did the first two games.
They didn't get after him. And your man Trey Hendrickson played, but he was not the same.
Nope.
And yet Tom Brady's offensive line rose and shone in ways that it didn't in the first two games against a team that had owned Tom Brady and company, owned them at New Orleans on opening day, and then November the 8th at what I call Tampa Bay. It was the all-time beatdown. It was Tom Brady's worst game, I thought, by far, of his career. He had a QBR of 6 in that game at home. They got dominated so bad that the time of possession was Drew Brees 40 minutes to Tom Brady 20 minutes. And he threw a frustrated late interception in which I thought he just sort of gave up and threw it up for grabs back across the field to Rob Gronkowski, and it got picked off by Malcolm Jenkins, who also played very well yesterday. Very well. He was all over the field.
Yes.
So Tom Brady went into New Orleans for a second time this year, and a third time against that team that owned him, and against a Drew Brees who has owned him. Drew was 5-2 against Tom Brady career. And what you saw on display was something that I hope the kids out there can comprehend and savor and embrace. Kids, you're going to get to tell your grandkids you got to see that guy play at the highest level at 43 years of age. So it's going to cross generations of, like when you're growing up, I'm growing up, who did I get to see the end of? I got to see Mickey Mantle maybe at the end. I got to see a little bit of Johnny Unitas at the end of him. But they weren't quite the same. That Willie Mays was on the downside. I had to watch him play for the New York Mets. And then if I can go fast forward, I had to watch Peyton Manning play for your Broncos in a Super Bowl in which he was just hanging on for dear life along for the ride.
He was on fumes.
On fumes. And what you saw yesterday was the culmination of the GOAT getting pushed out the back door in New England and saying, okay, I choose, and we're all thinking, Chargers maybe? Where else? Anywhere but there? Wait, he just chose Tampa Bay, the Succaneers, the worst franchise and winning percentage in all of sports? You're kidding. Oh, well, but they do have 2 Pro Bowl receivers from last year.
And Brayton, O.J. Howard.
And they do. And they have Todd Bowles, and they have a lot of pieces on defense, even though they went 7 and 9 last year with Jameis as the quarterback.
But Skip, when we stepped back and we looked at it, of all the places that he could have potentially went, that was the best situation. Nobody has that collection of skill players. Maybe Kansas City, but Kansas City wasn't available.
I still thought the Chargers were intriguing. Just new stadium, stadium, and all that. The point is, it took him 1 year only, but he had to do it on the fly during a pandemic with no preseason, virtual OTAs, and he molded that team into the Patriot way on the fly. He taught that team how to win the biggest games. And they all, right on schedule, clicked, gelled, came together, and took off in the month of December. As Tom Landry always taught me when I was first in this business, you have to streak into the playoffs. If you're going to go places, you got to catch fire in December. They did, right on schedule. And you can't tell me that every player on that team doesn't look up to Brady. As Bruce Arians said last week, I tell these guys something and they don't even listen to me. Brady says the same thing to them. They're like, oh, okay, I got it. So he has become the co-head coach. And to your point, the defense has been hit and miss all year. I wasn't sure I could trust it. It's gotten torched too many times. But right on schedule in the biggest game against the biggest challenge, Drew Brees that had owned that defense twice this year, they rose and shone. They played easily their best defensive game of the year, this side of one we're going to talk about in a few minutes on this show, against Aaron Rodgers at home back in October. But that was the epitome of Tom Brady instilling and installing the Patriot way in Tampa Bay. And you're right. He played careful football, no turnovers. They protected him the way they haven't protected him remotely against New Orleans, only 1 early sack. And they ran the ball the way they haven't in tandem all year, because look what happened. Fournette gets 63, but Ronald Jones got 62. That will work. It's like, it's not thunder and lightning, it's thunder and thunder.
Because what happened in the game too, Skip, he had 5 carries. They had 5 rush attempts, which the fewest in NFL history, I guess, since the merger. So when you look at it, now we're running the ball. You just can't pin your ears back, because I might hand this ball out to Fournette. I might hand it out to Rojo. So you got to sit in there, and just that sitting in just that 10th of a second, because, Skip, that's why you see so many guys jump offside. They're trying to time that cadence. And give the Bucs credit, give Byron Leftwich, he called an unbelievable game. Because, and Tom, Skip, like I said, young quarterbacks don't understand. This is what Tom understands, and I think this happens because Coach Belichick instilled in him, son, if we don't turn it over, we're good enough defensively to win this ball game. And he never forgot that. So a lot of young guys, instead of not, Skip, they try to win the game. Tom said, I'm perfectly fine throwing for under 200 yards and not turning this ball over. I'm going to make you beat me. I'm not going to help you beat me.
Okay, so I'm going to give you that New Orleans lost Deontay Harris early after his big punt return. That hurt. They were without Taysom Hill. That hurt some. Michael Thomas, though, did play the whole game. Would you believe they shut him out?
He didn't look good, Skip.
He had 4 targets, no catches. Are you kidding me? But to balance off the level of the playing field, I told you I thought Antonio Brown was going to be the X factor, the secret ingredient in this game. Antonio Brown went out mid-second quarter and did not return. I don't know what he has. There's speculation, some kind of a knee something, but he didn't go. So can we see 2 plays that happened in what became the go-ahead field goal drive? It's 20-20 early in the 4th quarter. And Tom Brady is facing 3rd and 11 at his 20-yard line.
This
And
might have been the play.
He goes back shoulder to Tyler Johnson, who makes the catch of the day. And he loves Tyler Johnson, who is a rookie out of Minnesota, who went in the 5th round because he can't run.
Right.
He wouldn't even run a 40. He didn't go to the combine, didn't have a pro day 40. And yet I watched him a bunch at Minnesota, and all he did was not catch touchdowns, just catch football.
He just got open.
He just got open and made circus catches just like that one. And I'm sure Tom Brady was not surprised and trusted. I can throw it out there where this will have no risk of pick 6.
Right.
I'll throw it to a place the DB has no shot at, but he will have a shot.
Right.
And then what's he do? Who stepped in for Antonio Brown, the guy I raved about the